y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss my current favorite bullet journal supplies. Previously I did a video on a channel that my husband and I had together where I talked about my bullet journal regrets, like the supplies I regretted buying. And some of the things that I'm gonna have in this favorites list were previously on that regretting list. You know, the things I said, oh, I'm never buying these again. I've evolved and changed my mind over the last couple of years, obviously, when it comes to certain bullet journal things. But there are some items also that I have always loved and will say on the permanent list forever of favorites. So without further ado, here's my current favorites, in no particular order though. Starting with one of my permanent favorites is the Staedtler fine liners. These were the first fine liners that I bought when I first started bullet journaling. I bought them mainly because I was following the trend and saw that everyone else was using these pens. But then I absolutely fell in love with them. They've been my favorite fine liners since day one. They come in so many different colors. They're inexpensive, and I've never really had a problem with them. The only downside, which is, you know, something that I've heard a lot of people deal with, is that if you write too hard, the nib will wear down really fast. But that's the case pretty much with any fine liner. So it's not just Staedtler that you'll have a problem with. You'll have a problem with that with the Pigma fine liners. You'll have a problem with that with the Pit Artist pens. All that. Another OG favorite of mine is the Rhodia notebooks. Oh, yeah. I love these, mainly because I was able to find a notebook that was A5 size and was wire bound, so it made it very easy for me to flip to the next page instead of me having to do the ones that were like glue bound, you know? So I really like and prefer the Rhodia ones. I use them mainly for practicing my spreads and before I commit them into my actual bullet journal. But they're also good for basic things like grocery shopping lists and just stuff that I want to get off the top of my head real quick. And then later on, I'll go back, and if it's something that's major, I might write it into my bullet journal or put it on a Post-it note to give to my husband if it's something that pertains to him. The next thing on my list is double-sided tape. Anyone that does maximalist or creative journaling or junk journaling will tell you that double-sided tape is a godsend. It makes taping items in your journal so simple. The tape is thin enough where you don't have to worry about any weird buckling or warping the way that you do with using glue sticks or any other type of like liquidy, gluey type product. If you're still using glue in your journal, I'd recommend that you get this tape because it's just better, especially if your journal has thin pages, such as the Leuchtturm journals, which the pages are very thin. The next favorite is more of a resource instead of an item, and that's Pinterest. I've used Pinterest from the beginning of my bullet journal journey, mainly to gain inspiration and on different spreads and different themes. But over the years, I have begun using it to find pictures for my spreads and my themes. I love how I can find about anything on there that can fit my theme of the month or aesthetic. I know some people they'll come at my throat and be like, that's stealing. You're stealing someone else's work, someone else's pictures. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying, that's someone else's content, but I'm not using them for a commercial endeavor. I'm using them in my personal journal. I'm not turning around and taking someone else's picture or someone else's like content and making a t-shirt out of it, making merch, you know. It's just I'm printing the pictures out. They're only for my journal. That's it. So I really don't think it's that big of a deal. And also I make it kind of known to anyone who asks that this is not my content. These are not my pictures. I'm not claiming them for my own, and I'm not making money off of the pictures in my journal. So it should be okay. Just be very careful just in case you publish any of this stuff on a blog or something. It might get a little dicey there. Next is something that a lot of people generally love, and that's the Tombow Fudenosuke pens and the Tombow brush markers. In the beginning, I had a rough time getting the hang of brush pens and markers. It took me a while to get the hang of brush lettering in general. I almost gave up on using these for lettering and would only use the brush pens for coloring things in. Eventually, something finally clicked with how I was lettering, and I was finally able to master brush lettering, sort of, to a certain degree. I still have a long ways to go, honestly, but I'm much better at it than I was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, my hand lettering was atrocious. I still make mistakes sometimes. If you see some of my previous Plan With Me videos, I still make mistakes, but I am better than I was 5 years ago. My favorite thing about the brush markers is that they come in so many different colors. I think the Tombow brush markers I think they're up to like 108 colors now, I believe. I'm not entirely certain, but there's a lot of colors. They also make for an excellent coloring tool, which before, in the previous years, I had been using them mainly for coloring stuff in on my spreads. I also have the Crayola Super Tip markers. I have the entire collection of those, but I still reach for the brush markers, the Tombows, because I don't know, I just find the colors with them to be a little bit more vibrant than the Crayola. Maybe that's just me. The same thing goes for the Fudenosuke pens. That's such a difficult word to pronounce. I don't know why I have a problem with it. They don't come in nearly as many colors as the brush markers, but the few colors that they do come in they're still versatile enough to fit into any bullet journal theme. So they mainly have primary colors like red, blue, green, and then of course you have yellow and purple and pink, orange, and I believe black. So you still have those basic colors, and that should fit into whatever you're doing in your journal, unless you have some weird mix of a color that you're coming up with, and then we can't help you there. I mostly use the Fudenosuke pens for lettering days of the week, for my weekly spreads, or when I'm trying to brush letter something on a smaller scale. If I'm doing like a big spread, something really large, I'll use the brush markers to do lettering with, and then switch to the Fudenosuke pens for something smaller, days of the week and stuff like that. Speaking of colorful pens, I've long been in love with metallic pens. Whether they're gel pens, paint pens, metallic markers, if it's metallic, I'm likely going to spend money on it and give it a try. I just love how they add that extra to the spread. To any spread, especially if you're using different color paper like craft paper or like black or blue cardstock. Having that metallic pen on top of it it pops. It just looks great. I've also learned that the Posca metallic paint pens and the metallic Sakura jelly roll pens, they are, for me, the best metallic pens out there. If there are better metallic pens, please someone tell me, because I've been searching for something beyond these two. Now, to switch gears to something that I absolutely hated in the beginning was washi tape. If you've seen the video, which by the way, I'm going to leave down in the description box below, I did not like washi tape in the beginning. I didn't really have a use for it, and I felt like it was too expensive and just a waste. I was mainly buying my washi tape from places like Michael's and office supply stores. And if you've gone to Michael's or Joann's, you see how expensive just 2 rolls of washi tape. It costs too much money. Eventually, I started using more themed washi tape, like Christmas, like Halloween washi tape. But other than those specific holidays, I rarely used it in my bullet journal. Eventually, I found my rhythm with how I was going to journal, and I figured out a better way to incorporate washi tape in my day-to-day spreads, so I wouldn't feel like I'm wasting the tapes I already had. And then when I started incorporating more of it, what happened? Your girl went and bought more washi tape. I went from having maybe 10 rolls of washi tape total to having last count, I'm pretty sure I have got over 50 rolls, maybe more. No, I've got more than that. More like probably 100 rolls, maybe. I don't know. I haven't counted. I don't intend to count because I don't think I want to know. And I just keep accruing more washi tape. People give me some. I exchange some with friends that are into it. And now I love washi tape. So I've evolved when it comes to washi tape. The same thing goes for stickers. It's shocking how expensive sticker packs can be. Although I have found some really great shops on Etsy that don't charge an arm and a leg and a kidney for a single sticker sheet. Also, using stickers is a great way for me to express myself creatively in my bullet journal, since I completely suck at drawing. I'm a non-artist. I cannot draw to save my life. But stickers are a way for me to get around that creative block, and I'm able to express myself better within the journal. I've gone so far on the washi tape and sticker road, but at least now I'm actively using them in my journal and they're not just collecting dust inside my desk. A recent addition to my faves is the Pilot G2 pens in the 07 nib. I think it's 07? Yeah, 07. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I slept on these for the longest time and finally decided to give them a try last year, and boy, oh boy, I am so glad I did. They write so smooth and they make my handwriting look amazing. They also come in a gorgeous array of colors. Maybe not as many colors as, say, the Uniball Signo gel pens, but there's plenty of colors to choose from. I use these for everyday writing in the body of my bullet journal, and even at work when I'm making work lists or anything else. Basically, it has become my go-to favorite pen ever. The next up, we've got the Pigma microns. They're also newer faves of mine. I started using these a couple years ago. I know friends that are they are artists, they use the Pigmas, and I never really thought about getting into them. And then I said, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna give them a try. And I'm so glad I did. I have amassed a decent number of them. I especially love the plastic nib Pigmas because the nib doesn't wear down like the regular Pigma microns do, which is really helpful for me, which, you know, I write like a freaking beast. So, you know, it's very easy for me to wear down nibs on fine liners. So for me to have the plastic nib, that's great because it doesn't really wear down. The only downside is the plastic nib does not come in they don't have variable sizes. It only comes in one size. And I think the nib equivalent for the plastic nib is the 03 in the Pigma microns. Other than that, when I'm feeling fancy, I tend to go for my Pigmas. Also, the pigment is archival ink, which is fade resistant and waterproof, which is really helpful as I plan to keep my bullet journals forever. Last but not least, my newest favorites are the Archer and Olive notebooks. I can't say enough great things about Archer and Olive. I have literally become addicted to them. I only switched to them from Leuchtturm this year. And as much as I loved Leuchtturm and had such brand loyalty to them because they are the OG original bullet journal, I was tired of how thin the pages were. The ghosting and bleed through can be particularly bad with certain pens and markers such as the Posca paint markers or the Tombow brush markers. The paper for the Leuchtturm notebooks are 120 GSM, while the Archer and Olive paper is 160 GSM, which makes the paper thick enough to even watercolor directly onto it. Though, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't tested that theory out yet because I'm so scared of ruining my Archer and Olive notebooks. The Archer and Olive notebooks also have crisp white pages, which makes it very easy to cover your mistakes that you may make in your bullet journal with either a white pen or paint marker or small white stickers. Yes, there are some drawbacks to the Archer and Olive notebooks, such as the lack of page numbers, sporadic quality issues, and they also tend to have fewer pages than other journals. So that was kind of a downside for me, especially because I missed having the page numbers from the Leuchtturm journals and having a journal last me for an entire year with Leuchtturm. And then with Archer and Olive, I kind of took for granted how few pages that journal has. And now here I am in September and I'm having to switch out to a new journal to finish the rest of 2021. So they're not deal breakers, but I can understand why people might be turned off from that. However, the page thickness and how beautiful the journals are, they've won me over. I am an Archer and Olive convert.
I am delivered.
No offense to Leuchtturm, but I just don't see myself going back to them as my solo dolo bullet journal anytime soon. The only way I would go back to Leuchtturm is if they increase their page thickness. Until then, sorry, I'm staying with Archer and Olive. Well, that's it for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment below of what your favorite journal is. Is it Archer and Olive? Is it Leuchtturm? What's your favorite pen? What is your favorite metallic pen? Please let me know, because I'm always on the hunt for new supplies. I probably shouldn't be buying anything else because I got plenty, but you can never have enough, I suppose. And oh, and by the way, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Apparently, most of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed to me. Join the family, come on. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye.